I hope you all have refilled your bowls of cereal. We're back, and we got the title fights coming up, Dan. How do you feel? k1llsen versus Av3k. Oh, wait. It's not important how you feel because we have someone very important to bring on. Papa Quake is back. We got DJ Wheat coming in. DJ Wheat, it's been a minute. How are you? It's good to see you.
I'm great. I'm so excited. You know what else is just awesome is that if you recall of previous seasons, a new map would be introduced and then literally no one would play it. They wouldn't get picked. It was like week 9 and finally we're seeing Deep Embrace. And it's really exciting to see it come out already. So I'm excited. It's good to be back. It's awesome to see everyone in chat, memeing and cheering for the favorite players. And of course, you know, someone's got to keep you guys in check. So I'm glad I'm here finally. Yeah.
Can I just say, I don't know what's happened to you over the last month or so, but you look refreshed. You look happy now. I don't know. You're just like a new person. It's amazing.
You know what? I feel great. I feel kind of like a new person. In fact, I want to remind everyone, did you know that you can watch Quake Pro League not only on Twitch, but also on YouTube as well? That's a thing. You can do that.
Great.
It's better, right?
I don't know. I mean, that's for the audience to decide. I still watch it on Twitch, but I'm letting you know that it is a possibility depending on, you know, what you want to do.
It's almost like as of late, the possibilities are endless for you, Weed. But it's it's great to see you back. Glad to have you, and especially for a fight like this. We got k1llsen, we got Av3k. It's going to be a bloodbath, but it's going to be just such a high-level bloodbath. Dan, I mean, just before we even get into the picks bands, how do you feel about it?
I feel good, really good. I'm going to be casting with Wheat, so that's the icing on the cake for me in this matchup.
Great. All right, now let's get to the pick bands. Thanks for that.
Are we?
There we go. We got it. Sorry,
okay,
I didn't hit the button right. All right, look. Insomnia, just like you said, you get to cast Insomnia. It's going to be Ranger versus Anarchy. We got Galena versus Eisen on Veil, and then we're rounding it out with a little bit of Sorlag versus Nyx on Ruins of Sarnath. Wheat, I'm going to start with you. How do you feel about this lineup?
I'm looking at it for the first time because I'm not like you nerds who look at the picks and bands ahead of time.
You don't write it all down in an Excel spreadsheet?
I like to be surprised. I mean, honestly, I think the thing that I'm looking out the most for is that, you know, you look at new maps that come into the league and the meta is just not defined, right? Players kind of have an idea how it works for them, but then I think that changes so much over time. So I'm just really excited for this first matchup. I mean, additionally, k1llsen and Av3k, right, two individuals that absolutely are champions, have been champions in the past. And so what an explosive kind of first match here for QPL 2022 to kick off with these two. I'm so curious about the potential momentum that you know, we could see coming from either of these players from a victory. So yeah, I mean, that's honestly what I'm most excited about. At this point, it's like whatever the map, whatever the champs are, it's all good. I'm just excited that we've got k1llsen versus Av3k here.
Absolutely. Championship level. Dan, how do you feel about picks bands and just the players in general?
I mean, players, great. I've been watching k1llsen stream. He's looking really good, particularly on Insomnia, this first map. I haven't seen Av3k obviously since London, but he was playing some of his best Quake there and was unfortunate not to go further. So that should be good. But the picks and bands, great to see Insomnia. As I said, k1llsen's been looking strong on it. Av3k picking the Anarchy up. I can see it working. I haven't seen it yet. Let's see how he plays that, but we know what the Ranger brings in. It's a very k1llsen-esque map, I think, Insomnia. So I think he could be very good on that. Veil, we know what to expect now. Galena versus the Eisen, and Av3k gets his lovely Eisen, so he's going to be happy there. We know what to get from Galena. Then the most interesting one is this Nyx straight-up aggro pick on Veil, leaving yourself open, and then you have a rebuttal of the Sorlag. Could be dicey for Av3k if k1llsen gets ahead of steam there.
Very interesting indeed. Again, we've known k1llsen to be Railson. We'll see if that comes into play on any of these maps, really. But predictions, gentlemen. Wheat, do you have a prediction you could lock in for us?
God, I mean, how can you predict with a new map, two players that arguably are trying to come into this season and really kind of put their flag into the ground to stake their territory? I'm not touching it. I'm not touching it. In fact, if whatever chat predicts, I'm great. That's probably what I would say too. I'm not touching. Although, you know, I think with this, I'll just throw myself. I'm gonna go k1llsen just because I do think Ranger on Insomnia, Anarchy. That might be tough for Av3k, but who knows? Who knows? Just throw it out there.
All right, so Wheat locks in for k1llsen. Dan, what do you think?
2-1 k1llsen.
2-1 k1llsen. All right. Well, my opinion doesn't matter. Never has. So I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to let you gentlemen do your thing at a very high level, but it's been a pleasure.
Great.
And Wheat, maybe I'll see you soon. I don't know.
All right, maybe. If we don't just decide to do all the matches. See that? We can't get rid of you. It's actually impossible.
They're waiting
anyway.
for you.
Your problem.
They're waiting for you to do the elevator. That's the only way to exit.
Oh,
You've been
no,
waiting
I can't.
all day.
I don't have the strength.
You didn't even oh man, I left it open and he still doesn't
Wow,
take
even got
it.
a hard cut. Like
Yeah.
that was like the cane coming out and pulling him off the.
Oh,
All right, if I lose my money on k1llsen, it's Wheat's fault," said Claudio. So I don't want that kind of responsibility, Dan. But hey, it's good to be back. We missed you, missed Quake.
Yes.
Nice break, an opportunity for the players to kind of bring it back. And that was the question I wanted to ask you. You know, you've now watched what 5 matches today, if not more. Do you get a sense that the players are like, you know, they're in it? Like, do you feel like everyone has solidly put their time in over the break, or do you think it's going to be a slow ramp up to things?
I think it's going to be a bit of a ramp up. There's definitely some elements of rust in there from a few of the players, but then we've also seen some unbelievable performances. I mean, the Cypher one comes to mind. He looked mind-blowingly good. Even at the start of the day, Sparty looked on form as well. So there was mistakes made throughout. So you can clearly see they're working their way back in, because no matter how much practice you put in, this level is just different, and they haven't had that training. So it leaves the door open for surprises. And as you said, and I said, it's a new map. No one knows how to play it well. It's going to be a bloodbath until people figure it out, and that's why it's super fun to watch it this time.
But that's great. I mean, honestly, that was like my favorite thing about Deep Embrace coming in. We saw the shift in that so much. I mean, remember the days like, oh, you just pick Keel and then you like win and deeper, and then it quickly, and by the end of the season we were seeing Athena on there, and it's been great. So I expect that we'll see, you know, something similar here. And it looks like we are officially live in this one. So Dan, take us away. Ibs through k1llsen.
Already orbing up, and look at that. He's stolen away the Mega. Great use of the orb, and gets across to the heavy armor. So already k1llsen has a rail and both major items to his name. And just to follow up that conversation, what we normally see when people don't really understand the map as well as they could is it becomes fast, it becomes messy because mistakes are made. People just want to fight. They don't understand the safest positioning, the safest defensive routes. And we've seen some big score lines on this map today, and it's already being opened up with some incredible rails.
I mean, I think you're right. We already saw the first frag, and the other thing I want to say, oh my gosh, 1, 2, 3 rockets, though. Right. I'm actually surprised by that because, you know, looking back to the beginning, we do have the orb coming out, so k1llsen's not going to let Av3k get away for that for too long. But to get instant control of both power-ups in the first 10 seconds, you know, both of our major items in 10 seconds is kind of incredible, right? I could have imagined that k1llsen could have increased his score line there by quite a bit. Av3k, though, shows us why he is Av3k and why he is such a great talent here in the QPL. Those rockets were phenomenal, although k1llsen did bring it back. That would have been pretty scary for any player to see k1llsen grab both of our major items right off of the bat. So I like what we're seeing here, and as I mentioned, we're probably going to see this adjust a lot, but Dire Orb, I still feel like already seems really, really solid here on this map. But how the meta will play out, we'll see. In the first minute and 40 seconds, though, just separated by 1. There we see a Dire Orb coming out again. k1llsen's going to go in very aggressive. The inject does come out, but it's not going to matter. k1llsen's rocket pins Av3k to the corner, and he is now up by 2.
Yeah, not only the orb, but the rocket jump as well is so powerful in this map. But this is why we said it looked like a k1llsen map, because it has that center point, a high ground in the middle of the map that gives you almost 360 degrees vision to pick your rails and make your move. Nobody does it better than k1llsen at playing that slow, mid-level game. And already he's making it shine with this 4-1 lead. And everyone else we've seen play this map plays fast and furious, running around the map, but k1llsen, he finds a way to set the pace to what he is comfortable with.
Yeah, we have seen him in this area. If there is a heat map that we could show of this map so far, this little platform that k1llsen is sitting on is where most of the time has been spent, which means that he must already find some comfort right here. And to be expected, that's kind of how k1llsen breaks these maps down as well. Now, Av3k's not going to let it be. He did a lot of damage to k1llsen before. Trying to get that machine gun kill is not going to happen. There's a nice rocket, but k1llsen coming back up. We get to see the orb back for position. And, you know, I'm not really sure what Anarchy is bringing, if anything, at this point. Clearly, k1llsen is feeling very comfortable with where he's at with Ranger, as you mentioned, the rocket jumps, and just having the orb. It seems like a pretty phenomenal kit to have here. But there's still a lot of time left on this match. Av3k is doing a good job trying to regain. There's a nice tri-bolt coming out there. They're trying to trade some rails. Av3k just not having much luck there, as k1llsen's best friends with that pillar that has been protecting him the entire time. And then also using his LG real nicely in every single time that we've seen Av3k coming for an attack, whether that's via a rocket jump or even that jump pad right there. k1llsen's been ready for it.
That's exactly it. k1llsen's just playing like a turret at this point, sitting in center map, using that positioning, using that vision just to completely pick his opponent apart. And I don't even think I've seen Av3k use a rail. I'm not sure he's had one. His weapon of choice has been the machine gun for the most part. And I don't mind that, because you have that consistent chip damage, but k1llsen's always in the right position to fall back onto something where that damage is almost irrelevant.
And you would think... Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and that continues to mount, but it is now stabilized at 4-1.
You would think, based off of what we've seen so far, that k1llsen has just had pretty significant dominance over the major items. Hold on. Aggressive orb coming out. Good rockets from Av3k as he backs away. However, the heavy is there for k1llsen's taken. He goes back up that jump pad and once again is very content right here. He's got a great line of view right there. Peeks around the corner, grabs the rail. Now he can extend out a little bit, and I think that's what k1llsen is looking for right here. Land those long-range shots, move in when you need to, but there's no reason to move from here. Your opponent's got to come from you, especially because k1llsen's got the lead. Now, Av3k running away, limping away. I'm not even sure he's got legs at this point. He does grab a little bit more health, but he's got to be careful and really just hasn't had a way in. Up the jump pad, very risky move. He almost eats the shotty from k1llsen, but somehow stays alive. It continues to be 4-1 in favor of k1llsen.
There's two things that amaze me. One, this must be so frustrating for Av3k. Just watching it from k1llsen's POV, Av3k's trying so desperately to move heaven and earth, to make a move, and he can't. And the second I was about to say is, how the hell has Av3k not died with all the damage he's taken? But as I say that, it is now 5-1.
It really, okay, Av3k does finally get it, hanging out from the window, finally using that machine gun the way he wanted to, but coming on through. There's the inject. It's big, but the shotgun is a perfect choice of weapon up there in the window. And then once again, Av3k really trying to get back to there. He's got the RL, but k1llsen already in position. And you mentioned frustration. Like, I even would guess from a viewer perspective, there's a little bit of frustration. What's being seen? 14 points of health. Av3k does manage to clean it up, but he doesn't have much health. He's not going to be able to just put himself into position or convert that frag very easily. He has kept the score at least closer than it was earlier, but 3 frags, and the way k1llsen's playing this, it still might be tough. Av3k, though, is a beast. Do not count him out. If he could win one of these fights and have the health and armor to walk away to kind of use that mobility of Anarchy a little bit, he might be able to bring it back. But so far, k1llsen is just the master of control so far here.
I couldn't agree more. But what I will say, as they do trade, is that Av3k, I feel that Av3k's got an understanding now of what's going on.
Right.
It felt like for the first 3 or 4 minutes he was getting caught off guard by the positioning. A lot of rails he was eating. He was being caught out with the pushes of k1llsen. That has begun to change. You can see the momentum changing here. And a large part of that is, I think Av3k now has the read on k1llsen, as he hits 2 lovely rails and a 3rd conversion, but k1llsen once again does exchange the frag.
And Av3k got nothing out of that exchange, right? I guess there He does get the, the Mega, but that worked out still pretty good for k1llsen. And he is landing these rails that are just so spot on. They're stopping Av3k in his track. And I agree with you. Av3k seems like he's got a bit of a game plan. It's one of those things, though, Dan, where it's like, is it too little too late? Now k1llsen down to 3 points of health, but he domes Av3k from up above, and How is just so much awareness, knowing almost to the exact number how much damage he had done against his opponent. It was risky, but he did have the high ground there, and as you know, high ground, especially if you're a Jedi, it's a big deal. So 9-5, it's going to be pretty tough. 4 frags right here. Av3k's still not going to give it up. There's an example that LG just coming in huge. It's easy to defend your position from that window if you're trying to go up there. Av3k just saw twice what that could mean, and ow.
What are you meant to do? There's no way to get up to that high ground without taking a leap of faith, essentially. And unfortunately for Av3k, every single time he's tried to do that, he's been met by a lightning gun or a ray. And now we're at the point where it really is the inevitable with just over a minute to go. Looks like k1llsen will convert once again to make it a 6 frag advantage, but considering the start Av3k got, you have to credit him with making a degree of stability and competitiveness in this game, but either way, k1llsen looks like he knows already his recipe for success here.
Yeah, and you're like, what does Av3k need to do? Right, in some of these situations, that was a nice frag from Av3k. I don't know that it's going to matter at this point, but in some of these situations, like, right, a rail would be phenomenal. But when k1llsen's parked up in the corner, guess what's right next to him? The rail, right? He can control in that area. So it does make for pretty interesting situation. It's not like you can extend yourself out, grab a rail, and then potentially catch k1llsen, right? Like kind of peeking around a corner, because k1llsen is doing a lot of that, but can safely do it knowing that Av3k doesn't have a rail.
Yeah, and you made the point earlier. It was difficult to see what the anarchy was really bringing, and the way Av3k played, it would have made more sense in hindsight potentially to pick a Sorlag where you still have that air control, you still have that speed, but then you have the stack to actually make those initiations, which Av3k was trying to force. But because you're playing a light champion, it makes it even more risky when you're trying to jump up to the high ground, use these jump pads. And maybe Av3k now, having seen how k1llsen played, would have to rethink what his choices are going into the draft.
I think you mentioned Sorlag, and that makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, anything, right? Most of the time that Av3k was making something happen when k1llsen was in the window was he had an RL, right? Having spit, maybe some keel grenades, something else that when you don't have that rail, you at least have a chance. But as we all saw, k1llsen parked there. It was an expensive day of parking, so he's like, I'm just gonna leave my car here, like I don't want to move it again. And it worked out for him. And then having the orb, you can get aggressive from that position with the orb. Or if your opponent comes in, you could use it to confuse them. It just, that to me seemed like k1llsen spent a significant amount of time really downloading this map and figuring out what game plan was going to work for k1llsen. I don't know if we saw that at all with Av3k. That'll be an interesting thing to kind of watch players either deal with, or hopefully we can talk to players about this throughout the season.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It just felt like, and I said it in the cast, but it felt like Av3k was spending the 4 or 5 minutes figuring out what to do. Part of that was figuring out how to counter k1llsen, but part of that, as you said, was figuring out what do I want to do on this map. And he got too far behind to make anything happen at that point. And k1llsen, as you said, knows exactly how k1llsen is going to be playing this map moving forward, because that was him in a nutshell. That's him at his best, is how he used to play the old school maps like Aerowalk back in the day. It's how he plays campgrounds. He loves to find that spot in the middle where he has that vision of the whole map. And this particular geometry gives him access to a rail and a heavy and then an orb over to a mega all in one spot. So step number 1 is don't let him pick the ranger, because then he can't play that simple.
Right. I mean, if anyone is coming out of the gate saying, all right, I'd like a shot at defining the meta here on Insomnia, so far, k1llsen, out of all the games we've seen, that was the most solid performance, in my opinion.
I mean,
but
from
it's
3 seconds in, he had 2 items in a row.
and even when that happened, I was like, "Oh damn, this could be real bad." It was pretty bad. I mean, could have been worse. Still give Av3k some credit for, right? Obviously, maybe not as experienced, and I'm speculating here, right? Maybe Av3k practiced 500 games and they went all a lot differently than what we just saw, but k1llsen clearly just kind of defined what I think we're gonna see a lot more players try to do until someone figures out, right, what's the alternative there.
Well, we've seen 3 games on Insomnia today, and we've seen 3 Rangers win, and they've all been played in very different ways.
Yep.
That was the most structured I've seen them play, and I said it when I was watching Cypher. Ranger is just the best champion to pick if it's a new map, or if you don't really know what you want to do, because it gives you the base, the base maneuverability, amazing resources with the orb and the passive, and a good enough stack to fight. So just pick a Ranger if you don't really know what you want to do. And so remove the Ranger, it'd be a very different equation for how he plays it, but the positioning was defining for k1llsen. And I looked at the draft, and when I said 2-1, I actually was thinking Av3k would take this map. So let's see what he can do.
The second map, this map, right?
Yeah, I think Av3k on the Ison, on Veil, he can assert himself a lot better. We've seen him play phenomenally here. So this was my 1 in the 2-1.
Got it. No, that I would makes a lot of sense. It's kind of how I was looking at it too. k1llsen oftentimes too, you think about just the last couple of seasons that he's had, and the issues that he dealt with his eyes, and maybe not even getting an opportunity to play at 100%. Well, there's no doubt, like, k1llsen is hitting QPL 2022 at 200%, right? And if I was k1llsen, I get it. I understand. I want to be in the same boat. He still played remarkably, considering what he kind of went through with his move and everything else. So if this is kind of the fully loaded and expertly practiced k1llsen that I think we all knew he was capable of being, I'm excited. But again, Av3k is incredible and always has been. And, he's kind of declared, listen, I need to start turning it up. I know what I need to do. I kind of would love to see that Av3k really come out. Now we're going to get aggressive, and it is going to be k1llsen with the first frag on the board. Ends up with the rocket jump up to the top, and that ends up being a big frag. Grabs himself the Mega as a result of that. He's going to have Heavy in just a moment, but even more importantly, gives him that opportunity to, catch Av3k off before he grabbed that Heavy. He's got both of the major items now, exactly where k1llsen wants to be.
Yeah, and just to add to your note on k1llsen, if I was doing my newspaper who to watch this season, I would put k1llsen up there, as we do have an engagement over by the Mega. He does fall on down, but as you said, Av3k keeping timing, which is great, and gets out without receiving a rail. And the reason why I would pick k1llsen up there is because every time he has those hard situations, as you pointed out, seems to be the seasons when he does his best. It's when people are sleeping on him and discounting him, is when he comes to the fore. So I have high hopes for him this stage.
I do too. I mean, for a lot of the players, it's just really exciting to have a new season kick off. And, certainly don't look at the results of week 1 and go like, oh, well, we know what's going to happen. I mean, this is going to be a long season. There's going to be a lot of time for players to develop things out. Ultimately, that will depend on, their seeds for the Quake World Championship and all that stuff. But exciting nonetheless, because I expect we'll see some ups and downs as we do every single season. So anyway, back to the action. 2 minutes, 56 seconds in. Despite the fact that k1llsen got that first frag, these players are playing out of respect. They have definitely slowed it down. k1llsen, I think the real big things, he continuously is hitting these rails that is putting him in a nice position, but the Mega's going to be stolen away. Turret doing a lot of damage right there, and now the setup for the Heavy. Is Av3k going to be able to make it over there in time? It doesn't look like he's going to try from the top. LG comes out. Av3k loves it. He drops k1llsen down to the bottom. 34 points out. k1llsen hit that rail, but Av3k with the Heavy and the rocket to tie it up 1-1, but he is low and he's got to watch out.
As much as you said, k1llsen is peppering Av3k with rails, which is entirely true. Av3k has this incredible ability just to do insane amounts of damage from the weirdest of positions. Once again, he comes flying in from above, no angle to work with, and melts k1llsen with that LG and ties it up 1-1. k1llsen also has the overstack up, so Av3k needs to make a more conscious effort to remove some of those totems, and not even in hidden places. Even step someone to do the job for him. k1llsen though stealing away that heavy and eating a rail, so at least Av3k gets a semblance of equality there.
Av3k needed that rail. There's a little bit of LG. The rocket's coming out. Oh, Mega is up, and he manages to grab the frag off of Av3k. The turret doing a little bit of damage. Another rail off the spawn. And it's so impressive, k1llsen being able to, he was down, he had gotten killed by Av3k, brought it back, stole it away, ended up getting both of the major items, and then the frag, with just like not having any issue doing that at all. He still took that rail in the back from Av3k, but it didn't matter. I mean, both these players definitely putting forth a phenomenal performance. There we have another totem going down just outside of that teleporter. And I'm okay with this slow pace, man. Like, I think it's really great. However, inside, big rockets traded, and k1llsen, not actually, neither player really getting the better of those two. I do like that totem placement, though, for k1llsen, not letting Av3k really use that high ground as much as I think he'd like to, and going after that heavy, but nice rail as well. That's Av3k needs those. He definitely needs to get those.
But then Av3k comes barreling in through to that light armor with half the stack of k1llsen and comes out on top. It's just those situations are mind-blowing. And even by the Mega before, if he tried to throw the turret to the high ground and missed, if that had gone onto the high ground, he could have won that fight. Av3k is playing exceptionally well, but as you said, k1llsen is doing a good job of keeping the pace slow, which is not what Av3k wants. Av3k wants to be the one running at his opponent, setting the tempo. But now it feels like that momentum again is in Av3k's corner. He's got control of this Mega cleanly. k1llsen's not even showing face. He's just playing ultra defensive, making sure he's got a rail angle to work with and a defensive exit option as well. And he's even probably going to forfeit this heavy. He's trying to get up there, but he just can't do enough damage to this pesky turret. And he's wasted all his time and lost out on the map.
I don't know if that is going to be a huge disadvantage. Well, taking that rail might be. Another rail would be huge here, but the LG to the rocket. Av3k switching it up there, getting the frag. That's going to tie it up. And this could be big for Av3k here. Now, here's a big opportunity. However, there's the overstack, and that's going to be huge for k1llsen to kind of come up off of that frag and try to get back into it, fighting from the top now. LG coming out yet again. It seems to be the weapon of choice here for Av3k in this room, and it is the right weapon of choice as he follows and up with that rocket to finally take the lead off the spawn. Another LG. Oh my gosh, k1llsen with only a smidge of health.
Nice.
And the rail from down below. Av3k for the first time finds the lead in this series.
And that was a perfect example of why you have to try and make an effort to do damage on the items, because although k1llsen had that 100-100 stack and was wanted to make his way up to the Mega, Av3k having a full stack mean he had A, the confidence to push in, but also meant B, that k1llsen couldn't afford to take any damage. And you were about to say, I don't think it matters, and then he took a rail and suddenly he's dead because he just had no buffer. And that's the problem. Av3k had no fear because he had effectively 175, and then it snowballed from there. It's gone from a tied game to a 2-1 game to a 4-2 game.
Some more impressive rails firing out from both of these players. Av3k with a bit of a life advantage. More totems going down here for k1llsen as he this time prepares in the heavy room, getting ready for it. He sees his opponent fly by out of his zoomed in view and knows that he's got a clean grab of that. Now setting up for that. Oh my God, what a rocket to rail right there. That is not only going to give him the Mega, but maybe even a frag. Av3k is forced to back off. There is the Mega and even the light in there. So again, denying Av3k everything he possibly can. And then the tri-bolt almost for the kill. Wow.
Yeah, k1llsen, he knows his opponent on the ropes, but he also knows now he's got the whole map at his disposal, so he will just take away all the resources before he finally makes his move. He actually rocket jumps up, so Av3k's in a strong position here to defend. He's in choke point. k1llsen knows he needs this frag, but he also knows he can't afford to give away any needless damage because it will allow Av3k having an in. And so he's wasted time. And Avik is living to fight another day.
Yeah, now we go to sort of a more defensive mode. God, if k1llsen just keeps on getting those hits right there,
What?
a second one into the heavy, and now he is on the chase, and that's exactly, he needs to increase the pace now, Dan. Av3k is so low around
There
the
we
corner.
go.
I'm not sure what Av3k was hoping to do there. Maybe just wait. He was hearing for his opponent, listening for a cue, finding out if it was going to be okay to go in.
He doesn't make it!
Oh, he doesn't quite make it, but 45 seconds left in the clock. Still plenty of time. The Mega's back up. This is going to be tough for Av3k.
Avik just missed a crucial rail, but it doesn't matter. He connects with a full rocket on the drop down, predicting perfectly. Another big one. Can he steal away this heavy? The answer is no. k1llsen rocket jumps up, clips the heavy on his way through. He's not that healthy, but he has to make this move.
All right, 4-4, it's tied up. k1llsen comes off of that frag with just about 25 health, but back up to 72 now. He's going to try to armor up as well. We might be taking it into overtime. It looks like we will, unless something incredible happens here in the last 10 seconds. I think both players are going to want this to just take it into the next area there. The tri-bolt's coming out. The sudden death goes. We've got heavy grabbed by k1llsen. Both players backing off. And I think we're going to slow down yet again, but coming out of the teleporter, he knew his opponent might be up there, does land the rocket. A very risky exit from the teleport there. But look at this tri-bolt still doing damage. A single
He's
rail.
available. Oh my god!
Oh my god. And down to 30.
How?
Holy, how did it? I don't know. I thought for sure Av3k was dead there. Huge health picks up for
Jesus.
k1llsen's. 30 seconds passed on the clock, and he gets hit by rail as he grabs the heavy. An unreal back and forth.
Yeah, this is the highest level Quake we have seen today as both of these players are pushing it to the limit. k1llsen, one more totem. He will have the overstack. That's huge as well. He's in perfect position for this Mega, and if he knows the heavy timing, which he does, he can barrel on through and steal it away. Avik is healthy enough to contest this, and he knows he needs to do at least damage. He's just on the low ground, so at this point in time, it's just going to be damage, and he decides to reposition going through the TP. Has he missed time? Why is he there? Fortunately, he doesn't take too much damage, but as I say that, it's a totem to rail combo, and that will be the end of Avik.
God. That's bait. That heavy was bait right there. k1llsen went back in. He decided to advance on Avik a little bit. Avik left. He's like, hey, there's a free heavy there. k1llsen was in a perfect position to then come right back over. He had the health. He had the armor. 5-4 in overtime. What a game. k1llsen takes this series. But what a phenomenal game that was, Dan.
I mean, that's why we watch the QPL. It's games like that. This the level it inspires, and we get this week in, week out, and even more so now we have a global league with Rafa coming over and Zeniku and all the other greats. So it was amazing. And just at the end, I don't know why Avik went for that Mega. It wasn't up. Maybe it was a mistiming. Whatever it was the smallest of mistakes that cost him that particular map.
Gosh, that rocket through the floor that hit for 40 damage. I thought the follow-up rocket was it. That was it. Somehow we see Avik just become Neo from the Matrix and like flip around the second rocket somehow, misses that rail. Didn't matter in the end, but what an incredible display that was there in the final moments.
Well, that was intense, and that was the map we both credited potentially going towards Avik, and he really could have won it. It was obviously pushed to the absolute wire, but once again, k1llsen does come out on top, and a large part of that was his rail, but throughout, both of them displayed great levels of skill. And now we're going to move on to Ruins of Sarnath, which I believe is the Nyx against the Sorlag, and I wasn't too convinced by that particular matchup, because if k1llsen gets a stack, and particularly if k1llsen is connecting with his rails, what on earth can you do as a Nyx in that kind of situation?
You know, and k1llsen has been connecting with his rails. I mean, some of his most impressive shot in this series have been those moments where he has just landed insane flick rails, right? He sees his opponent for just a microsecond, and boom, he's hitting those shots. Obviously, Ruins a little bit more open. I've seen some discussion also about Av3k and LG. I do agree that map number 1, it's just not a phenomenal LG map unless you're in that middle high ground position. We saw Av3k really use it well to I think how he would want to in the heavy armor room, in Vale, and then finally in Ruins, could also be something to consider. But I don't know. Right now, I'm still thinking k1llsen's looking a little bit hotter. He looks a little bit on form. Av3k looks great, but k1llsen looks like maybe he's just put in a little bit more preparing here for this matchup.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. He just looks a little bit sharper, and Av3k's LG looks on point, but it's more, it's more his usage of it, his timing of it, the way he manages to catch you off guard with it than his raw aim. I think we've seen a few situations. There was one down by the rocket where they went one-on-one LG, and I think k1llsen came out on top. So Av3k just has this innate ability to push the initiative in times you don't expect. So that's why it looks so strong. But it's still incredible aim, to take nothing away from him.
Yeah, don't. He will electrocute you if you do. It's not a good thing. So k1llsen takes the series, but of course we play all 3 games, so we're going on to Ruins next. Now Sorlag versus Nyx. He talked a little bit about sort of uncertainty about this matchup. So assuming k1llsen's going to hit his rails, assuming he's going to be landing all the spits with his control as well, what do you think Av3k would need to do that you haven't seen him do in this series in order to take this game? Time's up. All right.
Better control, better timing.
Okay, better timing. Timing. So feel like his shots and at least his decision making overall is good enough. Great.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's see it. We're going to start on k1llsen yet again. He's going to get that heavy spawn, grabbing himself a rail, and I think this is like pretty much all he wants right now. There's one shot. And he is 1 for 1, 100% rail. That's where I expect k1llsen to be. Up that jump pad. Nicely job. He heard Av3k jump over the corner. He knows that he's right there. The spit go out to force him out. And we do have the Ghost Walk popped. So that's just going to allow k1llsen to re-get some position.
Oh,
great
what
rocket.
A read.
Second great rocket. Third great rocket from Av3k. And a phenomenal read to take first blood in this matchup.
Yeah, you asked me what Av3k could do more of. It's hit direct rockets non-stop.
Great. That's exactly what he did. I personally thought Av3k hiding out in that corner, like he'd just been punished by k1llsen was going to be instant death. But what a smart move to just ghost walk and get out of there.
Well,
Great.
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, what is your game plan here? What's the end goal? He knows you're there. But what he was doing was wasting time. So he could then ghost walk onto the heavy. That was the key. So it ended up being way too smart for me.
He's graduated from the School of Quake with a master's and a PhD. It's understandable. Av3k is in the lead. He's only saw the lead one other time, which was on Vale early on before k1llsen was able to tie it up and bring it back in overtime. Can Av3k hold on? That's going to be the big question. We finally get to see Av3k on stream here through his POV. Hasn't been happening that much. Takes a rail from the back. Knows exactly where his opponent's going to be, but k1llsen very, very wisely holds up before he moves into the room. Spit coming out on top of that platform. A couple rockets still going, but not going to matter. Here we're going to have an aggressive ghost walk coming out. Big rocket into the LG. And, big brain plays here coming out from Av3k, making it 3-0.
And this is when Nyx does look scary, when she manages to build that overstack, because then you have the Ghost Walk that you could use aggressively and keep your opponent on the back foot. And as long as he's limiting the defensive options of k1llsen, particularly with the rail, he's getting away with these frags cleanly. He's building his stack and he's maintaining his stack. The challenge comes if and when he loses that control. But at the moment, he's the one pushing the initiative.
Yep, and doing a good job controlling all the areas that k1llsen really needs. He needs some lights because Av3k has control of both of the major items at this point. Stole away one of the lights over near rail. And now he knows he's on the hunt this time. And this is the first time that we've really seen Av3k on the hunt. You know, game 1, it was like an impenetrable wall that he was just trying to figure out how to knock down and get through. Game 2, there was a lot of back and forth. But this is really the first time that we've seen Av3k truly in control.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, at least on map 1, I'm pretty sure on map 2, he had not very good starts and he was having to fight from behind, whereas this time, he's setting the tempo, playing the way he wants to. He has taken a lot of damage here, so he's slightly vulnerable, but so is k1llsen. Av3k's got already a 5-frag lead, so exceptional play, and he's just melting him with the LG once again, catching k1llsen off guard with that rail, and the Sorlag pick is just not working as much as it should have done.
No. And I don't think that there's, you know, I mean, k1llsen's playing Sorlag the way that I'd kind of expected to. It's just, I think Av3k, especially on the aggressive Ghost Walk, is just kind of defining the pace of the game and ultimately achieving control, which is what he wants. Now, this time k1llsen waiting for him to come up that jump pad is going to do a little bit of damage. His LG comes out, spit to kind of prevent him from moving any closer in there. But 4 minutes into this game, and you know, Av3k's got some room to work with. I think being in this position is rather nice, Dan. It's not like you can just lay off the gas and just be all good with it, but you have some room to make some mistakes. He's still hitting great shots. He's still controlling the areas of the map that he wants to, but he has definitely slowed it down just a tad.
Yeah, he needs to now because he's suddenly lost the stat control. You can see k1llsen building a tempo, and he has to have these defensive positions where you can A, hear k1llsen, B, hit him as he's coming around a corner, and C, have a retreat. And as much as you're right, you can make mistakes. Making a mistake with Nyx is potentially the most costly in the game, because if you die having used that Ghost Walk, suddenly 1 frag can turn into 2 and 3 before you know what's going on, because you spawn with no stack and no defensive options. Now he's on the ropes. He has a Ghost Walk, and he will actually hold on to it because he knows he will even die popping it. So I actually like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, there was a good spit come out as well by k1llsen. That was wisely played right there. I thought that maybe Av3k would still be able to clean it up with that LG, but that did not happen. k1llsen on the board now, at least for those of you who are putting your predictions out on k1llsen. He's putting up a 1 frag to say, hey, I've got a chance here. So 5 minutes, we're halfway through this matchup. Av3k going to slow it down just a little bit, as he should. He wants to feel like he's back in control before he gives anything up. The last thing he wants to do is give up a frag and then see k1llsen 1-2 convert off that and get a closer to potentially a tie. But 5 minutes, he's just letting the clock come down. He's got to be careful here. k1llsen knows exactly where he's at. He's got that rail in hand. He knows he's going to come up that jump pad, or maybe not. Looking for him outside that telly exit. And now he's just waiting. I like this. I'm okay with this decision making here by Av3k.
Yep, it's going to be frustrating for k1llsen to track down his opponent, but he would do exactly the same, and he has done exactly the same. But he will also know exactly what Av3k will want to be doing, because he's also a Nyx specialist himself. But the question is, can you hunt him down? Can you force out that Ghost Walk? And can you kill him all in one fell swoop?
Well, k1llsen's going to be looking to answer that question here, Dan, in a little bit. But Av3k is probably playing exactly how k1llsen does not want him to, right? Playing over here by the teleporter. You mentioned the audio cues. Wow. Finally, k1llsen does land that one. That actually is going to open up a window for him to roll in and try to steal away that pie. Still using the Ghost Walk. Was it necessary there? I don't know, but that's what Av3k needed to do to feel safer. The rail went right past him, and k1llsen, though, he's got full control of major items. He's now going to be chasing as the spit comes out up the teleporter. He's got to be careful right here. The LG from down below. Nice. Great rocket by k1llsen, anticipating him, looking over the top. And now it's a 4-frag game with less than 3 minutes left to go. Bye, k1llsen. Yep, he was.
Oh,
went
you
right
cheeky
past him.
Boy, just standing there letting k1llsen whiz straight past him.
Sometimes that's the smartest move, but this time k1llsen is going to see his opponent in the double rail. Nicely played. The first one, a clear shot. The second one is a panic as Av3k trying to get away. He lands it. Now a 3-frag game, and k1llsen's in a great position right now. Sitting on top of the Mega is going to grab that. It's going to have an easy road heading over to the Heavy, but he catches Av3k going down the hallway. That's going to force out the Ghost Walk, going back down to the Heavy. He's going to grab it, and he's got to feel fine with that. But 2 minutes remaining. Oh my God, that's huge.
And he popped the Ghost Walk. There's 30 seconds to go for the next one. He's been spotted again. This is what I meant. One mistaken Nyx could turn into 2 or 3 frags. And it was a risky game to play with Av3k. You're almost hoping at times k1llsen makes the wrong decision. And suddenly, what was a 6-0 game is a 6-6 game. And this is the fire you play with when you just play defensive.
I was expecting a slow climb up. Oh, 10 points of health. Out of the teleporter, a suicide. That's actually one of the best things that could have happened here for Av3k. However, he is very, very low. It's going to allow k1llsen off the spawn to grab that Heavy and the rail. 2 things that have been incredibly beneficial to him here in this matchup. Now, he still has 1 frag to make back. So Av3k kind of got to get out of jail for free card, but he gets caught there near the big eye. k1llsen does land a rail. Oh my gosh. That rocket was big. The second one not hitting. However, this could be huge for k1llsen. It's going to come down to the LG, and Av3k takes it. Yeah.
There we go. I said, let that be a lesson to you because, if you play defensive, you play with fire, and Av3k nearly let that one slip away, but the LG is what made it count at the end there.
It really did. And you know what? A lot of times getting caught the way that he did in that room, that can be death. That can be death, especially because k1llsen did have the better stack there. But, that you can't run because you're just going to get hit by k1llsen, right? So in a big way, he had to... Right, he had to do what he needed to do. He had to go in for it. I'd love to rewatch that one. That was pretty amazing how that one went down because I thought for sure he caught Av3k with his pants down and it was going to be nasty. But Av3k, like I said, yep, that LG came into play big time. 4-7, and good for Av3k. Picking up a game here in the series. Yes, k1llsen did take it 2-1. We kind of said that's how it would go down, but maybe it went a little bit differently based off the maps. Let's bring 40 back in, see how he thought this match went. Hello.
What a set. What a set, man. That was absolutely insane. And, I mean, at the last map, granted, yes, the series was already tied up at that point, but Av3k putting on a bit of a clinic with that Nyx for about the first 7 minutes, and then k1llsen just gives us all a heart attack with this amazing comeback. And, Av3k's able to pull away with it, but that was a fantastic play from k1llsen, being able to play from behind and try and get back to it, but Av3k, just amazing Nyx play. And we're used to seeing k1llsen in that position, so it was really refreshing to see that. And I wonder if that was kind of where the pick came out, you think, Dan? Because I know that I think k1llsen got the ban, right? So, yeah, maybe Av3k kind of picked k1llsen just to take it away from, Av3k picked Nyx to take it away from k1llsen.
I think that's a really fair shout. I mean, Av3k's already proved he's also a connoisseur, and this is a good map for Nyx. I do feel that picking Nyx first, you've got to be highly confident in your capabilities because traditionally I would favor a Sorlag in these situations, but when Av3k can get the start he did and set the tempo,
rail was
it is so scary. But you could also see the vulnerability that comes into play here, right? If this was the start and k1llsen got a 6-7 frag lead off a mistake from Av3k, it's almost game over to come back as a Nyx. So, either way, really well played. It's always risky.
Here it is. Here's that. So he's 145. Yeah, I guess he hit the... Did he hit the rocket and then just followed up with the LG? Wow.
Either way.
Just insane play right there on that lower shard. The last stand for Av3k and the LG reigns supreme as we take a look at the stats. Again, wonderful set. k1llsen comes out on top after the first 2 maps. But I like the display from Av3k on map number 3 right there. I think it was a solid play, but we got what we wanted. We got a really close set, and it was really interesting to see them play Insomnia specifically. Again, the Ranger kind of showing, flexing a little bit and showing him he's probably going to be a staple pick for that map. And I wonder if people are going to start banning it out, maybe.
It would make sense. The map geometry really lends itself to that particular champion at this time until people work out how to counter it or what else works in that fashion. The same way Doom was always banned on Awoken for the start because it was the easiest one to play. Very quickly it fell out of favor, but still, there's a similar situation with the Ranger.
Yeah, we'll see that kind of continue to play out here week after week, and that's, again, one of the things that really excites me. Already the games we've seen on have been great, and I imagine the players have been putting in the time because, right, I don't think it'd get picked otherwise, but good to see. Good to see.
Good to see indeed, and it's going to be good to see k1llsen. We have him for an interview. k1llsen, let's get you in here and have a chat.
Hey, how's it going?
Congratulations. We're doing fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, man. Yeah, thank you very much. I mean, I'm a little upset about last map, like how things turned out. I mean, still made a good comeback happening, just a little sad and angry. It wasn't enough to make it.
Really close. Made it interesting for sure. On that same topic, guys, I'm going to jump in real quick and just say, when you're playing from behind as a professional at this level, how do you kind of keep your wits about you and stay sharp and try and get yourself back into it, especially with a deficit like that? Is there anything specific that goes through your mind that you say, I have to do this first, and then that'll open up the game for a potential comeback?
Yeah, absolutely. But it also, very depending on the map and matchup you play against what kind of champion and what champion you play. So I knew... I have like the movement on my side. He kind of has the ability on his side. And then, I just, my work was just to stack up fully, natural stack, and then, maybe hit a shot before a big item, and then, make the turnaround. And then I just run the map, and it worked really well until one point.
Wheat, you want to kick it off? Sorry,
Wow,
Dan.
skip
sorry
Dan.
about that.
I have two different potential questions, and I was hoping that Dan would ask just so I knew which one to ask. I'm gonna go with the more general one, k1llsen. Last season, you still had great games. You put on the performance that I think many fans were excited about. But we talked about it here on the stage of QPL that you arguably were not able to play at your 100% necessarily in the last season. But it's a new season. 2022 is here. You've clearly put in some time, as we saw in map number 1. But give us an idea of where you feel like you're at now as we really kick off in the season. Not expecting you to predict how you think it's going to go, but like, how are you feeling? Is this 100% k1llsen right now?
Oh, absolutely not. By far not. I mean, it maybe is 70% to be fair. I mean, sometimes there are like, glimpse of having like really good ideas and situations, but overall, my game plan is still really off.
Well, congrats, k1llsen. Also, congrats on your new house, your new room.
Thanks.
It looks great for an interview. I just want to ask a bit on your opinion of the new map, essentially, because obviously it's coming to the pool now. It's pretty unique in its geometry, and I think of everyone that we've seen, you have the clearest play style on it. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on how it plays, how it feels, and how you feel the meta's gonna evolve on it as well.
I mean, also here, like Ranger has been a really good pick versus Anarchy. Like Anarchy can hover around the map like super well, so you always have to be aware about that. But this actually leads to the situation where you can, as Ranger with Orb, can just counter this kind of gameplay with the Orb because it does so much damage if you're not careful. And I mean, we're gonna see a lot of different matchups for sure on the map. And even I didn't play all of them yet. But it always just like before, depending on the matchup itself, what your opponent favors to play, likes to play, and then your idea of countering that kind of what your opponent's game plan might be. Like Asina, for example, can just swing around the maps really well. I was kind of scared about that, but on the other hand, there was Anarchy still open, and I know. It's a tiny map, yes, so that makes like smaller champions a little tricky with like stack wise. You can respawn frag them quite well overall, but still at the same moment, 1 second, and they gone on the other side of the map. So yeah, you always have to make make a really good thinking about it. What champions are up right now in this situation? What do I want to play? You know, maybe on second, third map even, or if it's last, you know, how I do want to try to throw off my opponent. Like these mind games that it's like the game is already just starting before the whole matchup. You know, when it comes down to the picks, it really matters a lot already, especially now with Insomnia. A lot of strong stuff possible there for sure.
Nice, thank you.
Awesome.
Well, k1llsen, an amazing start to the season for you. Congrats once again. Always a pleasure to have you here, but we're going to send you off, and you can enjoy that victory.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Congrats, man.
Take
GG.
care.
Bye-bye.
What a nice young man. Love him.
Humble,
Always a pleasure to see.
you know, 70%, like, all right, like 75 at least, k1llsen, like, come on. No, that's great. And Dan, that's exactly what I was going to ask. So see, chemistry is ripe this morning in QPL week 1 here. I'm excited. Good job.
At least some of us had chemistry.
I was going to say there's the chemistry, and then there's me. Hi. But it's been a long day, but we still have one more set left, and Wheat, you're going to be stuck with me for this one. It's going to be k1llr versus Wenger, 2 champions, the reigning champion, a previous champion. It should be a fantastic matchup. We're going to take a quick break and then seal the deal here on the premiere day for Quake Pro League Season 3. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back.